PvP in Throne and Liberty is one of the biggest areas that we do not have a lot of clarification on. In this video, I will first start by talking about what we do know about the PvP in Throne and Liberty. I am going to cheat just a bit here and pull that section out of the Everything Known About Throne and Liberty video that I did, and after that, I will add some more discussion and speculation to it. As for PvP, there is still some uncertainty on how a lot of that will work. With the recent director's preview, it is stated that most zones are now safe zones and PvP is not forced. However, in the same video, they also made a reference to PvP potentially being turned on in the open world dungeons. In the past, the PvP karma system was called Evil Deeds, and it was said that this system was active to punish PKers during the day, but was turned off at night. Day cycles last 4 hours, and night cycles last 1 hour in TL. Recently, I discovered a translated screenshot from one of the very recent videos, which still references the Evil Deeds system, so it is very likely that Evil Deeds still exists, but only in PvP-enabled areas. And it appears to punish players that kill those that do not fight back, similar to how the Ashes of Creation corruption system is planned to work. PvP is turned on for certain events such as the Wolf Tales event, and as I said, PvP is potentially on for world bosses and dungeons. There is also a giant flying island called Gigantrith that travels around the map like a subway line every few hours. This island was said to have PvP enabled in the past. It appears every few hours and exists for 30 minutes. As for organized group PvP, there are two systems in place: Occupation or Guild Wars and Siege Warfare. Occupation or Guild Wars are a battle over open world objectives that guilds can own. The weather systems, such as the rain, can affect these paths to make certain paths unpassable during these battles. The objectives that guilds will fight over are called Blessing Stones and Dimension Stones. These two stones together are called Possession Stones. The acquisitions of the Possession Stones allows for enhanced guild capabilities and the procurement of necessary raw materials. For Siege Warfare, this is where guilds will fight over large battlefield objectives such as castles. Defenders have the advantage, but as time goes on in the battle, players can transform into a golem, destroying the wall or jumping on top of the wall. A golem that carries people to the top of the wall is also available. The victory condition appears to be channeling a throne room for the attackers or the timer running out for the defenders, and the victors appear to be handsomely rewarded for their efforts. So in short, we might have PvP on for world bosses, dungeons, and the flying transportation island called Gigantrith. Or we might not, as they have said in the recent developers preview video that PvP is not forced and most zones are safe zones. Which leads me to believe that the Evil Deeds system does not exist, but we have a tooltip that recently showed Evil Deeds might still exist. The structured PvP I think is pretty clear. Castle sieges and guild wars seem fairly straightforward and fully opt-in, and some regional events will have PvP enabled. But the rest of the open world PvP is very much not clear, especially whether PvP is truly on for dungeons and world bosses, and that would be kind of contrary to what the developers have said when they want most zones to be safe zones. And the most confusing thing is both statements came in the most recent video, the director's preview. So in one video they contradict themselves by saying PvP is on in dungeons but most zones are safe zones. So that's what we know, but what would I like to see? Well, personally, as a big fan of PvP and MMOs, I would love to see PvP on in dungeons, raids, and throughout the world with the Evil Deeds system in place to punish PKers as needed. But I know I am an outlier, and that is not what the vast majority of MMO players want to see. So I doubt the PvP will be that open. But what will it actually be? Of course, we have no idea, but I would not be shocked if we see some differences between the NCSoft Korean client and the Amazon Western client in terms of how PvP operates. Korea seems to be a bit more open to open world PvP compared to the West, so maybe that is why we see some contradictory statements. It would also not shock me if they decided to have separate rule set servers, some that limit PvP severely and others that have a more open PvP rule set. And maybe that is part of the reason there is such a long delay in getting a release date for this project. Maybe they're still trying to work out some of these details about how PvP and other systems like monetization will work. And that is really all I have for this video. If you liked the video, consider subscribing, and with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.